COVID, there's Uber, there's Lyft, there's a rideshare program. If you have money, you pay someone, they come and pick you up and drop you off, but that's expensive. That's $15, that's $20, that's $30, okay? So a lot of people are making money off of you because you don't know how to drive. And if you don't know how to drive, you're going to limit your financial opportunities, because late teens, early 20s, you need to be done with college. You need to be in the workforce, making money, starting out at $40,000, $50,000. Every year you get a raise. Then in your late 20s, you're about $60K, right? Then most of you will move out of your parents' house mid-20s, as you should. You shouldn't be living in your mom and dad's basement. You want to live in an apartment, you might live with your friend, then you're going to get that good job. Remember, you got to drive to work. You got to drive back home. If you have speeding tickets in your late teens, your insurance is going to be high. Right around 22 or 23, you're going to be off your parents' insurance. You should be. If not, you are the problem, okay? Your parents will help you, but they are trying to save for their retirement. They're getting ready to retire. They're going to move down to Florida. They're going to sell the house. Now, if you don't have a plan and you keep failing English 12 or you didn't graduate, you're severely going to limit your income. Oh, by the way, you don't know how to drive. So if you don't know how to drive, or you struggle with reading or social, you're going to have a really limited job. And for some of you, that's okay. I like to try to maximize my income potential. I want to know what I need to do to get a raise every year. I want to know what I need to do to show the company that I bring value. Oh, by the way, you could be laid off. I got laid off in 2014. I had to go find another job. You need to have a second skill set. Oh, by the way, you have to drive. So if you don't know how to drive, you're going to be stuck taking the bus. They only come at certain times. You're going to get rained on, snowed on, burnt up in the sun. So it's really important that you prepare. And what is one of the most underestimated things? It's a list. It's not one thing, Drew. Let's talk about it. Driving is a divided attention, meaning you have to speed. When you're driving, you have speed, and then you have to steer. Maintaining 35 while navigating a curve. A lot of beginners look down at the line, look at the speedometer, you look at your hands, you go too fast, you go too slow, you're going to create road rage. So there are other people on the road besides you. One of the other things is scanning and speed, looking for a house number without slowing down. You're going to your friend's house. You have to read addresses. There are 20 cars behind you. You're going too slow. People are honking horns. Another thing is conversation plus navigation, following GPS directions while answering the instructor's questions, or your uncle's questions, or your mom's questions. If you drive scary and nervous, your mom and dad won't drive with you. All of you would drive scary and nervous going to your high school. Why? That's your whole life, and it should be. You might have 500 people at your high school, 900. 1,000, 1,200. The school bus driver doesn't care. The principal doesn't. Your principal cares. The principal doesn't care. Your teachers don't care. The juniors, seniors don't care. They're just like you. I'm trying to get a 4.0. I'm trying to get a scholarship to Florida State. Here's a sophomore driving 10 in the parking lot. I'm driving around you. I'm parking, and I'm going into school early to talk to my guidance counselor. Why am I even messing with you? But you don't understand it. Or you're scared to back into a parking spot because you don't look out your back window and you sideswipe a senior's car. Now you have a problem, and they videotape it and send it to their mom. And their mom comes up there and clocks your teeth. So if you don't know how to park, you're going to hit someone's car, and then now you have a problem, plus it's on the school camera. Another thing that beginning drivers don't do, finding the gap on a left turn. Left turns are the most dangerous. So because you don't have a lot of practice time, because you scared your mom and dad, when you make left turns, Drew, you get nervous. You underestimate. You almost get hit by a bus or a car. So your mom and dad are done with you because you are very nervous. Drew, the problem is you don't have enough practice time with your mom and dad. And then you're going to be 18 trying to take segment 2, and you're like, forget it. I'm going to wait till I'm 19 and let's go take my test. But Drew, you don't have the experience. So Drew, what you need to do now when you're training, you need to really lean into your mom and dad and uncle and auntie. Be humble. Mom, dad, do you have time to take me out? Instead of saying, Mom, dad, take me out. They're going to be like, really? That's how you talk to me? You didn't do your homework? You didn't take out the trash? You didn't clean your room? You're probably saying, what does that have to do with driving? It's called showing responsibility, because your mom and dad are going to take time, Drew, to get you out. But if you're irritable, arguing, you don't want to listen to a lecture that your mom and dad are going to give you about you because they love you and you misunderstand, you'll never get the driving experience. And then you're going to struggle. And Drew, they have an extra car at your uncle's house in Kentucky. You don't know that. Your uncle wants to give it to you, but because you're so Drew, you're not disrespectful, but because you're so disrespectful, your grades are poor, you're always late to school, you always argue, you don't take out trash, you don't vacuum, you don't clean up after yourself. Drew, you're never going to get that car. So I'm giving you a real life example. You have to work hard, guys, because I get a chance to see young people grow up. Driving does not make you an adult. So I'm going to keep going with the questions. Why is there places you can't turn around? That's the way the law is, Bryce. There's certain places in the world you can't turn around. A one-way street, a narrow downtown area. These rules are designed to facilitate a smoother flow of traffic. Example, they're installing more roundabouts across the country. Roundabouts, Bryce, are more efficient, less accidents, less pollution, smoother flows of traffic. So Bryce, there are rules. Example, why do we have a speed limit in the school zone? There are little kids, young adults who don't understand the dangers of a car. Why do we have a graduated license? Because about 14 years ago, your age group was killing themselves. Not enough practice. Mom and dad don't take you out. So we changed the law, the state across the country changed the law to encourage more parental involvement. So, Drew, to answer your question, Drew, why do we have let's say you got to graduate with 127 credits. Why did they change it 5 years ago? They want you to take a foreign language. They want you to take a technology class. They want you to do physical education. As the world changes, they're going to put more requirements for you to. Why do they want you to do community service, Bryce? Because that teaches you to care about your community. So these laws are designed to show you, why don't they want you to drive the wrong way on a one-way street? Because they create these laws to make it better for the common good. If everyone's trying to turn around on a narrow street, you're going to go over the curb. You're going to hit a car. You might hit a building. So there's some places that say no U-turn. So I gave you some good examples. Why don't they want you to run in the hallway in high school? Because you'll slip and fall and hurt yourself. But you run in the hallway, seniors videotape you, they put lotion on the floor, they watch you fall, you knock out your front teeth, and they laugh and they get 1 million views. So there are reasons why. Why do they want the instructors every 2 years to do a professional development class? After about 2 years, new information comes out. Why do I need to take a background check every 2 years? Because we want to make sure that instructors have a clean background. No felonies, no assaults, no problems with the law. Okay, so these laws are designed to make the common good more efficient. And then tying it to an example, blind spots in acceleration. Speeding up to merge while checking blind spots over the shoulder. All of you will drift out of your lane because you look too long over your shoulder, you grab the wheel. I'm giving you real life examples and high school examples. Okay, another one, Bryce, will be, why do they want you to take a personal finance class in high school? They want to teach you how to start saving money. They want to show you why you should not get a credit card at a young age, because you'll get into credit card debt. But what happens when you go to college? As soon as you walk on campus, there's someone waving credit cards at you free. You get a $500 limit. You just sign your name, give them a social security number, and within one day, Bryce, you're already over your credit limit because you took your friends out. That's how they trap you in debt. So I'm giving you some real, and I'm an educator, okay? So I think that was a good question. I gave you some good examples. Let's keep going. Where will we drive? You're going to drive around your whole community. You're going to first start in your school parking lot. You're going to make right turns, left turns. You're going to go around the light post working on figure eights. You're going to learn how to turn hand over hand, looking to the left because you're going left. I'm simulating turning. You're going to turn hand over hand, looking to the right. You're going to practice pulling into your school parking spot, stall parking or angle parking. You're going to practice going in your neighborhood across from the high school. You're going to learn how to parallel park. We're teaching you lane line observation. We're teaching you emergency vehicle pullover, locating a siren and pulling over to the right. We're going to also teach you pedestrian watch, light timing. You're pulling out of your school parking lot onto the main road. You have a traffic light. There are pedestrians walking by. You have to look at the light. You have to see the pedestrians and look at traffic. Your light just turned green, but there are 3 students who are listening to music and they're still walking. You're not going to run them over, but your light's green. So you have to be able to analyze the environment. And if you can't and you struggle in your parking lot, you struggle in the neighborhood, you're going to struggle on the street. So that gives you some good examples to help you understand. And of course, if you go over the speed limit, you'll get a ticket. If you run a light, you'll fail. If you run a light, you could get hit. So all of these rules and guidelines are there to not restrict you, but to help you grow. And if you follow the rules, you're going to be successful. Where do we drive? Answer that. Where are the places you can't drive? Most dangerous. If you lose your license, can you get it back infinite amount of times? First, Connor, I guess you don't like paying money infinite amount of times. Okay? Our whole system is based on money. There's no free things. Okay? Let's use an example of ChatGPT. Okay? There's a free version. After about 10 or 15 prompts, it times out till 5 hours from now. If you want the paid version, unlimited or infinite prompts, you can pay $10 a month. So there's no such thing as infinite. In your mind, you think, I can just do this infinitely times, but it's not. You have to pay. And if you keep losing your license, do you have a memory problem? Do you have a hole in your pocket, Connor, right? If you keep losing your license, a person in school is going to get your license. They're going to create a fake account in your name and get credit cards and debit cards. And then your whole identity for the next 16 months, 32 months is messed up. You're probably saying, really? Yes, because there are people, if they need your ID or your social security card, they will assume your identity, and this will cause you problems when you're trying to get loans or grants or get a loan to get a car. They'll say, you know what? You have $25,000 line of credit. I never opened that. My mom is here. Yeah, he never opened it. Well, someone opened it 45 days ago. And then you remember, Connor, you lost your license 45 days ago, but you didn't tell your mom and dad because they are very angry because you keep losing it. So if you keep losing your things, you're going to get punished from losing your things financially, and that's going to hurt you in the long run. So you have to learn how not to lose your things because you have to keep paying for it. And to tie that in, it's called hazard ID and braking, seeing the ball roll out in the street and immediately covering the brake. If you're in a neighborhood and a little ball rolls out, you should already know there's a kid, because most adults don't play with little balls. Kids play with little balls. And if you don't understand that, Your instructor is going to stop you and look at you. Your mom or dad are going to stop. What are you going fast for? You see the ball coming out? I don't see anything. You're in your school parking lot. You see people driving very slow. They're new drivers. You see people driving very fast. They're new drivers. You see mom and dad dropping off their son or daughter because they're late. If you don't understand that environmental atmosphere, you're going to struggle. Also, sign reading. You forget where your high school is because you're nervous and overwhelmed. Or you forget how to go to your friend's house who lives 10 miles away because you've been sitting in the back your whole life on your phone. I told you to sit up front, day one of the class, watch your mom and dad. You didn't do that. Now your mom and dad say, here are the keys. And you don't know how to get to your friend's house. And then your mom is like, see, John, he's not ready to drive. He doesn't even know where his friend is. And that's his friend for 10 years. So every day you're proving yourself. I'm proving myself to you with my organization as I'm answering your questions. And then we're going to be talking about road rage. And then you're going to be quizzed on the worksheet 4. Okay. And then at the end, we'll schedule drives. But I'm giving you a real life conversation back and forth. And you should put high quality questions in. Some of you will just sit here, I'm tired. I just want to drive. I don't want to work. You get in what you put in. If you really want to learn, you'll ask questions. If you don't, then you'll just sit there. But that's through life. And if you put in work in high school, you're going to get a good job and go to a good college. You'll graduate understanding. You'll get a good job. They'll promote you. You'll make great money. You'll feel good about yourself. You might invest, buy some property. There's so many opportunities, but you got to want to put in work. Okay. Blind spot and acceleration. Some of you will speed up. Some of you will look over the wrong shoulder. Let's keep going. Do the fines get worse every time you lose your license? Same question. What I want you to do, Alexis Jones, ask a different question. So I'm forcing you to go back. So you don't get a fine for losing your license. Well, if you get pulled over, okay, no operator's license, the fines will stay the same. But if you keep losing your license, that shows lack of responsibility. Maybe you have memory issues. Maybe you leave your license in your pants or shirt or whatever you do. But if you keep driving with no license, you're going to keep getting tickets. And then your parents are going to say, why does this girl keep losing her license? She's not ready to drive. So you're making problems for yourself. You're making problems for your parents. You're making problems for your community. Let's pretend the chief of police knows your parents. You and them go to the same church. You know, your daughter keeps getting pulled over by my lieutenant, and we're trying to be nice, but if she keeps driving without a license, we're going to revoke her license. So you have to show maturity once you go to high school, once you go to elementary. You have to show maturity every single day. So come with a different question. Mental math and ETA, calculating if you drive enough time to make the light before it turns red. A lot of you won't be able to do that because you're staring at the speedometer. You're staring at the light. You should be able to calculate your speed and when the traffic light will change. 1, 2, 2 people asked the same question about a license. 3, 4, 5. Okay, as long as you have your glasses, can you drive? First, if you can't see, you should have your glasses on. Next, if you can't see, you should have your glasses on, because let's pretend you can't see because you don't have your glasses and you crash. And on your license, it says driver must have corrective lenses on. And you hit someone, you're at fault. Let's go back to your parent, because none of you live on your own. You're living with mom and dad, and you keep getting tickets on failure to wear corrective lenses. You hit someone. Eventually, your license will be taken away. Or is there a limit on how your eyesight can be able to drive? The answer is the states are very lenient, but you have to have minimal sight. You're going to take an eye test and go to Secretary of State. And if you can't see, you won't get your license. So that's kind of cut and dry. You got to be able to see. And if you have corrective lenses on, you need to wear them. I thought that was a solid question. We talked about where we drive. Is the pre-test similar to the test? Yes, it is. The good thing that we try to do is put together questions that mimic your state tests. This is why it's so important that you do well on your quizzy. And that's so important. Why did they make it illegal to people to be on the phone? Because you'll crash. Driving is a divided attention task. And there's only so much bandwidth. If you're on your phone, you're eating an apple, you're drinking water, you just ran a light. States have identified across the country driving while on your phone is illegal because you're not focusing on the road. And the police can't catch everyone, but over time, if there's a problem area, the police have a meeting every morning. Hey, Main Street and Junction, we have reports of drivers on the phone throughout the day. The business owners are done with it. We need an officer to be there all day. I need you to look for people specifically and ticket them. So you are the problem. So this is why, because you're on your phone, this is why it's illegal, because it's a divided task and your mind should be focused on the road. Do you want your school bus driver on the bus while he or she is picking you up? Do you want a semi-truck driver? Do you want your mom and dad on the phone while they're going through Mom, you're going too fast, slow down. I had to call grandma. She's having a hip replacement. I'm joking, but still. So if you're caught on your phone, you'll get a ticket. It'll be a fine. And if you're caught again, it'll be a bigger fine. You have to make your mind up what you want to do. And if your parents keep seeing you get tickets, then you're not responsible. So driving kind of shows your responsibility, a lack of it. Type in takeaway on what you learned from your questions in the chat. Type takeaway. Remember, I'm front loading the class. I'm going over road rage. We're going to go over it. What does it look like? We'll see some videos. We'll give you some examples. Because you will trigger road rage when you first get out driving this weekend, scholars, because you're going to drive too slow. You're going to turn on the wrong blinker, Maverick. You're going to hit the brake, but there's no cars in front of you. All of you will accidentally, Everett and Alexis, you're going to accidentally trigger road rage. You're probably saying, how so? I'm a good driver. You are a good driver, but you're driving 20 and a 50. You are a good driver, you're driving 10 and a 30. You are a good driver, you're driving 30 and a 50. So there's a lot of things that are going to go on, but you don't know it. And then people will be mean to you. They're going to give you the middle finger. They're going to tailgate you. They're going to cut you off. You're going to feel a lot of pressure because they don't understand, why are you going 10 under the limit? Why are you turning on your left blinker, but you're going right? Why did you stop in the middle of the street on a turn? That happened to my driver yesterday toward the end. We had a green light. He stopped on a green. A truck almost hit us. And I looked at him like, what are you doing? I don't know. So he was driving at about 45. The front crash detector went off. He panicked. That made him zone out. Then he almost slammed the brake. If I didn't pull his foot off of the brake, we would have got rear-ended by a Ram 1500 and we would have hit the vehicle in front of us. So in that 3 or 4 millisecond situation, he lost focus. That's going to happen to all of you, Connor, Alexis, Everett. That's going to happen to all of you because you're going to have information overload. My job is safety. You learned that in the rules of the right of way in the last Masterclass. Safety. What is the safest thing I can do as an instructor? I pulled his foot off the brake so we didn't slam brake. I squeezed my instructor brake. I didn't talk to him because his brain was already overloaded. So that's going to happen to all of you. That's a really good example. But over time, you'll learn to keep a good following distance. Now, I don't know if your instructor will have one of the newer 2026s or 2025 cars. He or she may, that has crash detection. But if they don't, the chances of you rear-ending someone will increase. Okay? So that's a good example of actually us. And, I taught his sister a couple years ago. He's a great student, but he was really nervous on his first drive. Okay? And that's going to happen to you. But we just have to show support, make sure you guys are living in the moment. And I didn't scream at him. I had to take action. So the most important thing that I want to tell you about is just living in the moment and being careful. We're passing low traffic areas, high traffic areas, highway driving, and it's really important that you understand the dangers of traffic. Now, we're going to be talking about road rage here for a moment, and this is perfect. Okay, so put in questions as I go along, and remember, you're going to be tested on this in the end. Okay, so what is road rage? Aggressive driving has become a major issue that can occur on any roadway and impacts all road users. Your mom, your dad, your instructor, your grandma, your principal, your teachers, your basketball coach. Okay? The most common causes of road rage: overstressed drivers. That's you. You're embarrassed to be in a driver's ed car. Your instructor is not giving you enough feedback. Your instructor is giving you too much feedback. Your instructor is irritated because you're not listening. Or your mom or dad are clocking your T because you almost got hit and then you almost went through a red light. So they should clock your T because they don't have an instructor brake. They don't have a dual mirror. I'm giving you some examples. Traffic backups. I could have took my students into traffic backup, but I'm not about living that life of wasting their time. Traffic backups make people very irritated. They get short-tempered. There's a zipper merge. I'm going to have my driver get over early. In the zipper merge, you should get over toward the end. There are two types of people that do two different things on a traffic backup. They go down all the way just before the road ends and get over, or they merge early. Because I'm driving, remember, our underlying goal is safety, and I'm taking my time. At 9 o'clock, we'll do the quizzy. At about 9:30, 9:40, we'll schedule drives. So you need to be listening. I don't have anything to worry about. So traffic backups, that make people very angry. So it's really important that you understand that. Please lock in and listen so you're not removed. Motorists improperly blocking the roadway. Semi-trucks. Drivers who are irritated. You, as a beginning driver, you block the road because you don't know what to do. Your instructor's irritated. Your mom is irritated. Your dad is irritated. Your parents are irritated. They're irritated that you failed English 10. And you got to go to summer school and it costs $200. And you got to take driver's ed that costs over $500. And you haven't scheduled yet. And you still don't clean your room. So this brings up emotions. Motorists invading the space cushion of others. That's us. You're going too slow. You're going 5, you should be going 10. You're going 10, you should be going 7. And driving is the learning classroom. If you want to try to get it done now, you're going to crash. There's no quick way to learn how to drive. You need to drive in backup traffic. You need to drive in the rain. You need to drive in the fog. You need to drive in the country. You need to drive in the city. You need to merge on, you guys get what I'm saying. You need to drive in a crowded high school parking lot, which all of you will have the beginning of August or September. And if you're not driving to school, there's something wrong. I'm telling you the truth. Because when you're done with this class, you should be practicing through the end of this month into August, and then take your skill stats to drive to school. Hey, Mom and Dad, can I drive to school? No. He told me about that. Yeah, because your parents don't trust you. People drive too fast. You drive too slow. You're too hesitant. But you probably said, Mom and Dad, if I don't learn, then stop talking to me. We're late. And then you're angry. And your friends, you said you were going to drive to school. I saw your mom driving. You get embarrassed. Motorists invade your space. This happens all the time. Remember, this is road rage. Drivers making communication errors, failing to use turn signals. That's you as a beginning driver. You don't use your blinker. You turn on the wrong one. And these are common errors, but because you're a beginner, people don't care. They don't care. I'm just being honest. Drivers using their high beams instead of their low beams. When a lot of you get into the driver's side of the car and make a right or left, you're going to turn on the high beam lights accidentally. This irritates other drivers. Remember, I'm taking my time. I'm in no hurry. Because you will have the Quizzy worksheet 4. And you're going to finish that. And then we'll schedule. So I'm taking my time and going over this. We have videos to support this. Inappropriate honking of horns. Someone is really upset. They keep hitting the horn because you are stopped in the middle of the street. My driver behind us, yesterday, he almost rear-ended the car. The front detector went off. He panicked. I had to pull his foot off the brake. The truck behind us almost rear-ended us. He had information overload. Some of you probably saying that's not going to happen to me. It will happen to you because you haven't driven in an instructor driver's ed real life. Well, I've driven a golf cart. So I've driven a motorcycle. So I've driven a golf cart neighborhood. So now you're being evaluated. Now you have a person with a clipboard who's going to say you pass or fail. And if you make a mistake or can't drive, we write it down, we document it, and their parents are like, see, you didn't listen to it. He doesn't like me. He doesn't know you. And then I communicate to your parents. Drivers using gestures to communicate to other motorists. The middle finger, telling you to come. Yes, 2 days ago, we learned about the rules of the right of way. If someone tells you to come through, but you don't look and you get hit, that's your fault. Don't do that. Offensive bumper stickers and other vehicle decorations. Type in your takeaway from number 1 category. What is your takeaway? Because you're going to get quizzed on this as soon as I'm done. I'm going to see who's listening, who's daydreaming, because you're being evaluated every single day. I'm being evaluated. You're being evaluated. Your parents are listening. They're evaluating me and the content of this message. They're evaluating you. Okay, he told you what you need to do. Let's see if you can drive. Mom and Dad, why you like this? Well, we have a car and we don't want you to have an accident. Type in takeaway, TAKEAWAY, semicolon. What did you learn about the first part, the most common causes of road rage? I gave you some personal examples. You type in one of the examples that's going to happen to you when you drive on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday of next week. I have a schedule. It's going to be filled. I'm going to use the class list. I'm going right down the line. You asked for it, you got it. So now, wow, he taught us this. I'm really going to be driving on Friday? Yes. You're going to be driving Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. You're going to be driving. And then I can call the instructor and say, well, how did they do? How did Maverick do? I did great. How did Everett do? Struggled. How did Alexis Jones do? Did great. Because I care. If I didn't care, whatever. Let's keep going. Okay, I ask you to type in takeaway. I'm going to the next section. I'm following the curriculum. What do you want me to do? There are different levels of aggressive driving and road rage. I'm going through all of them. They will be on your test. They're in bold. Verbal aggression occurs when the drivers are triggered. They're triggered because you go too slow. You almost tailgated them. You're using the wrong blinker. They will cuss at you. They will yell. They will make gestures. They will honk or direct insults at other roadway users. Drivers have said, "Student driver, get over, get over." They're scared. You're scared of them. You're scared of yourself. Remember, the most important goal in driving for our level is safety. I'm going back to my example of my student almost rear-ending a car yesterday. I had to pull his foot off of the brake. The front crash detector warning went off. He slammed brakes. A Ram 1500 almost rear-ended us. I didn't say anything. He froze. He made a right turn. He stopped on green. The same truck almost hit us again. You're probably saying, well, he was a bad driver. No, he wasn't. He's you. Because you're a beginner. Your parents don't know this. They'll say, what's wrong with you? Clocking your teeth. I don't know, Dad or Mom. Quiet aggression. I'm giving you an example. Quiet aggression occurs when the driver complains, rushes, or competes with motorists. You will get cut off on a zipper merge. And if you don't merge in, I'm doing a merge. If you don't merge in, you're going to get cut off. You're going to build frustration. You're going to make people yell. They're going to cuss at you. They're going to make gestures, and you freeze. So I make a decision not to put my student in a zipper merge construction area. That's good teaching. Why would I overload you like that? I made that decision because from my experience, I don't want you to panic. That's what a good instructor will do. A young instructor will say, drive. And then you're sitting there for 20 minutes not learning. Okay? Rush and aggression occurs when drivers are in a hurry. It's rush hour. I don't have time to play with you. I'm trying to get chicken. I'm trying to get toilet tissue. I'm trying to get diapers. My wife is blowing on my phone. Honey, I just ordered Chinese. Go get it. Oh my God, it's on the other side of town. That's our favorite place. Our kids are starving. I put money in your account. Go get it. Oh my God, right? So that could trigger quiet aggression. That could trigger road rage. That could trigger you making an illegal U-turn. Got you. That could trigger, because if you just do this illegal U-turn, you'll save 10 minutes. And guess what? You want to save 10 minutes. You look to see if there's no police, but there's a police officer in the McDonald's parking lot. You don't see it. You get a ticket and you get hit and you get your food late. So that's a really good example of when it occurs when drivers are in a hurry, rush hour. Do we drive in rush hour? Yes. Do we drive in the morning? Yes. Well, why do we drive in the morning if it's rush hour? You need to learn how to drive in the morning and rush hour. I don't want to drive in the morning and rush hour. Well, I guess you don't want to drive. I'm going to give you times your instructor is available to drive. Why are you going so slow on this? Because I can, and I want you to learn, and you're going to be tested. I'm never in a rush. And I evaluate myself. Usually it's between an A- and a B+ or straight A. Sometimes your classroom grade is a B- or a straight B or a B+. So I know I'm doing the right thing because I'm an educator and I'm covering the curriculum and you will be tested on it. So I'm not looking at the chat yet, but I will. So rush and aggression. You are driving. Your mom says, get dinner. We just ordered. Mom, Dad, I'm supposed to go to a meeting with my coach. What's more important, your coach or the family? You're saying to yourself, my coach, because I'm getting a scholarship. But then you see your mom and dad's hand come through your brain. You need to go get dinner. And then you text your coach, Coach, I can't make it. I have a family situation. Your coach is like, okay, no problem. Join us on the Zoom call in 25 minutes. So you're going to have to learn to decide what is priority, your family's priority. So this occurs when drivers are in a hurry. They are constantly changing lanes because they think it will allow them to travel faster. That is not true. That's why when you're driving, you want to get in a lane that's moving, that's smooth. You'll see other drivers cut to the left, cut to the middle, cut to the right. If you understand that, as long as you're moving, you're good, but you're running late to school. You decided to leave school during lunch. You got 20 minutes to go to Starbucks. The line is full, 10 minutes. You got your stuff, but then there's a traffic jam to your school. You're going to be 5 minutes late. You're going to be 10 minutes late. And then your mom and dad get a text on the phone, your son was late to chemistry. And they're thinking, why are you late to chemistry? You can't tell your parents I went out for lunch. You make a lie up. And then you tell your friends, hey, we're going to Starbucks on Thursday. You don't want to look like foolish. You speed to Starbucks, you run a couple lights, you almost rear-ended a car, but your friends are laughing, you cut off someone, you get into Starbucks. But now it takes 12 minutes. And you know you're going to be late. But if you go the back way, you might make it back in time. So you're living a lie, you shouldn't be leaving school, but you do. What's going to happen is you're going to run a light and get hit. So you keep traveling faster, you ignore road signs and regulations, or you drive in a pushy manner. You cut off two cars, you run through the light, and then there's an officer at CVS, and you get pulled over. And guess what? You lost your license for the third time, and now you get pulled over, license, registration, proof of insurance. You don't have your registration. So now you are in trouble. And then you get an attitude with the officer, and then you get arrested. Now you look like a complete fool. But that's what's going to happen to some of you because you think you can leave school, go to Starbucks, get your little latte, and come back. I'm giving you an example. Total aggression occurs when the drivers are constantly ridiculing other drivers to self or other passengers. Man, look at this old man. Man, look at that driver's ed student. Man, look at this semi-truck driver. You're ridiculing other people. You use your vehicle to block other drivers from making the desired maneuvers. You display nasty looks. Drivers always display nasty looks to us or gestures toward other drivers. Don't worry, we got 7 minutes. You getting ready to hit that quizzy? I'm not even worried. Violent road rage. This occurs when drivers deliberately use their vehicle as a weapon. You ram a car or act like it, or you brake check someone. That's against the law, but they have a dash cam. This driver brake checked me. They slammed brakes. And they use their dash cam, and then they send it to the police officer, and then the police pull you over. And the driver behind you shows them the video, and then you get a ticket, a warning for road rage. As a weapon on another motorist, exiting their vehicle to get into a physical altercation with another driver, or have thoughts of killing another driver. What are some strategies? We're going to talk about this, and then you're going to tell me what you learned. I love this. The best strategies for avoiding road rage and aggressive driving are reduce your stress. Leave plenty of time to get to your destination. A lot of you won't do this. I'm sharing a personal example. I used to leave late, speeding, to get to my appointments, to get to school, to get to work, to pick up the kids. I stopped that. I didn't get a ticket, but it was very stressful. I'm not a road rage person, but it's stressful. I get up early. I drive at the speed limit because if you keep driving over the speed limit, you're going to start to feel comfortable. And then you're going to drive faster because you feel comfortable. And when you feel comfortable, you're going to drive even faster. And then this leads to you speeding. I'm going to minimize distractions. My wife is calling me. Bleep, bleep. Where are you at? Where are you at? They're about to close daycare. I'm stuck in traffic. Your parents went through this when they put you in daycare. Do not drive angry, upset, or overly tired. That's going to happen to you guys. You're going to stay up all night playing video games. I'm better than you. I'm ranked. You're not. Okay? Don't show me your fake account. Show me your real account, Everett. Right? Show me your real account, Alexis. Oh, never mind. Right? So don't drive angry. We're all human. Don't drive upset because you're going to be more aggressive. Don't drive overly tired. You won't listen to me. You're going to show up to your drive Friday. You stayed up all night and you almost ran into the car and your instructor's like, get in the back. And then they call me. Hey, Everett was terrible. Maverick was so-so. Alexis did good. I need you to talk to them because we all work together. Okay? Know where you are going to avoid getting lost or confused. That's all of you. You don't know where you're going because you don't know how to read signs. I didn't say you can't read. You don't know how to read signs. You don't know where to look. it takes you too long to figure it out. And that's one of the problems beginning drivers struggle with. Multitask environments. You have to stay at 40. You got to read a sign. You're in the wrong lane. You used the wrong blinker. You get cut off. Someone is angry and you get road rage on. You're like, wow, that's real. Leave plenty of space between your vehicle and other vehicles. You don't. You tailgate. My beginner driver yesterday was tailgating another car because he had to learn lane line reference and following distance. It's a car length for every 10 miles an hour. If you keep tapping the brakes and tapping the brakes and tapping the brakes and tapping the brakes and tapping the brakes, you're going to irritate a driver behind you. They don't want to hit you, but you're irritating them. Okay? Leave plenty of space between your vehicle and other vehicles. You won't do that. Do not cut off other drivers. You will drift out of your lane. Give other drivers plenty of space to merge on the highway. You might go too slow. Example, you walking in the hallway because you're really sad. You stayed up all night. You had geometry first hour and you have a quiz and you know you're going to fail. You did have a B minus. Now you're going to have a D minus and then your parents are going to rip your head off. You were good in middle school, but you're in high school. Next, use your turn signal when necessary. You use the wrong blinker. I'm tying this into beginning drivers. You use the wrong blinker, you turn on your brights. I'm so happy I'm taking my time because you're going to have a quizzy in a moment. Next, avoid using gestures or the vehicle's horn except absolutely necessary. The driver honked at us. He might have been going too fast. My student driver maybe panicked, but this triggered him to use his horn. And when a horn hits, a student driver freezes. And that's what happened to my beginning driver yesterday. That's what's going to happen to you. No, it won't happen to me. It will happen to you. It won't happen to me. It will happen to you. To only use the vehicle's high beam lights when there is not an oncoming vehicle approaching. You will turn on the brights accidentally. This is really good. Never engage or respond. I need you to tap in takeaway. You're getting ready to have your quizzy. I need you to type in takeaway and you will have time. Okay? So I need you to take a moment, put your thoughts together. I'm going to get the quizzy ready. We need this done so you can shine. You're going to have a half an hour. That's more than enough time because I've always told you, stay ahead of me. I look at the curriculum, and that's what I'm supposed to do as a teacher. I tell you ahead of time, stay ahead of me one lesson, one unit. So when we go over this, you're not lost. And then we'll touch upon the SIPED process, defensive driving, the next few days. But I really want you to do well. And based on the data and what I put in and what you say, I'm covering the material. And if you do well, okay, so this assessment will tell me, do you understand? This assessment, your parents can watch and listen. Your parents can even, hey, mom, dad, join this quizzy. Have your mom and dad join the quizzy. Some of your parents are like, yeah. If you got a cool mom and dad, join this quizzy. See what they know. It's a good refresher. It really, really is. And I'm just going back through. This is a lot of information, but we take it in small chunks. Okay, this is what a high school curriculum looks like. You do it in small chunks. And I told you this class will be very overwhelming. And see, lecture 7. We're going to finish up with the worksheet 4. We talked about road rage. And then tomorrow, we'll answer any questions. Then you're going to be on the pretest, 1 to 75. So it's all set. You can kind of see where you're going to be the next week. And that's good teaching. So I ask you to put in takeaway. And if you want to have your mom and dad do the quizzy, you could text them and remember, mom and dad, do this quizzy. I'm in the bed. Here, do the quizzy. And it'll be good. Okay? So, and I'm glad we took the time to do this. And I'm glad you're going to be able. So I'm going to pause it. You're going to be doing your quizzing? Give me 1 second. Guys, this is a great masterclass. We're bringing good value. We're talking about road rage. And I want to say thank you. Bye.